Welcome to BL Story Realm. Twisted fate, dangerous obsession, love that breaks all rules. Smash, like, subscribe, and share. Let's dive in. They sold me at midnight in a basement that smelled like cigars and desperation. Not some fancy auction house with chandeliers and champagne. This was the real deal. The kind of place where human trafficking was just another Tuesday night business transaction. 20 Omegas lined up against a concrete wall. All of us wearing white to show we were pure. All of us shaking. I was number 17. My adoptive father had dragged me here 3 hours ago. His fingers bruising my arm as he shoved me into the holding room. Don't embarrass me. Don't cry. Don't make a sound. You're worth $500,000 if you behave. Worthless if you don't. My adoptive mother hadn't even come. Just texted him, get at least $600K or don't come home. $600,000. That's what 16 years of beatings, starvation, and being locked in closets during my heats had earned them. A comfortable retirement and a beach house in Florida. The auctioneer called my number. 17. Male Omega, age 22, never bonded. Heat cycles regular. No medical issues. He didn't mention the scars. They'd made me wear a high-necked shirt to hide those. Bidding starts at $200,000. Silence. My stomach dropped. Nobody wanted me. Then, a voice from the back, deep and accented, cut through the quiet. 1 million. The room went dead silent. Even the auctioneer looked shocked. $1 million, the voice repeated. Final offer. No negotiation. I couldn't see who was speaking. The lights were too bright, the crowd too dark. But I heard footsteps approaching. Expensive shoes on concrete? A man emerged from the shadows. Tall, maybe 6'3", wearing all black. Dark hair swept back from a face that belonged in magazines. Sharp jaw, high cheekbones. Full lips set in a hard line and dark glasses. Indoors at midnight, he stopped 3 feet from me. Head tilted like he was listening to something only he could hear. This one, he said to the auctioneer. I'll take him now, sir. There's paperwork. I'll handle it. He pulled out his phone, tapped something. The money's being transferred. Have the documents sent to my lawyer. The auctioneer nodded frantically. Yes. Mr. Volkov. Right away. Volkov. I'd heard that name whispered in my adoptive parents' house. Dmitri Volkov. Russian Mafia. Weapons trafficking? A man so dangerous that even corrupt cops crossed the street when they saw him coming, and he'd just bought me for $1 million. A bodyguard appeared, grabbed my arm. Come. I followed because what choice did I have? Through a back exit into an alley where 3 black SUVs waited. The bodyguard shoved me into the middle one. Dmitri Volkov slid in beside me. Up close, he was even more intimidating. The car smelled like his cologne, expensive and overwhelming. Cedar and something darker. The door locked with a heavy click. We pulled away from the basement, from my old life, from any chance of escape. What's your name? He asked, still not looking at me. Kai. My voice cracked. Kai Morrison. How long have you been with your adoptive family, Kai? 16 years. And how many of those years did they hurt you? My throat closed up. How did he know? All of them, I whispered. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a small device. A medical scanner. Give me your wrist. I held out my trembling hand. He ran the scanner over my skin. It beeped. Tracker, he said. Your family implanted a tracker in your arm. Probably when you were too young to remember. Horror washed over me. They'd been tracking me my whole life. He pressed a button on the scanner. It emitted a high-pitched sound. Disabled now. They can't find you? Why would he care about that? The drive lasted 40 minutes. We left the city, wound through dark roads, finally stopped at gates that opened automatically. The estate beyond looked like a fortress. Modern, brutal, UNWELCOMING. Inside, a woman in a black suit waited. Mr. Volkov, the room is prepared. Good, take him upstairs. Let him clean up. I'll speak with him in an hour. She gestured for me to follow. I looked back at Dmitri, but he'd already disappeared down a hallway. The woman led me to a bedroom 3 times the size of my old room. Bathroom is through there? Clothes in the closet. Don't try to leave. Security will stop you. She left me alone. I went to the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror. Bruises on my neck from where my adoptive father had grabbed me yesterday. Circles under my eyes from weeks of not sleeping. I looked like a ghost. I turned on the shower, made the water as hot as I could stand, and scrubbed my skin until it was raw, trying to wash away 16 years of hands that had hurt me. It didn't work. When I came out, clean clothes were laid on the bed. Soft black pants, a gray sweater, everything fit perfectly. How did he know my size? A knock on the door made me jump. Mr. Volkov is ready for you, a male voice called. I followed the guard down to a study. Dmitri sat behind a massive desk, glasses still on despite the dim lighting. Sit, he said. I sat in the chair across from him. You're wondering why I paid $1 million for you? he said. It wasn't a question, yes. Because I need someone I can trust. And trust is easier to build with someone who has nothing to lose. I don't understand. He stood, walked around the desk. Even though he wore the glasses, I felt his attention on me like a physical weight. I'm going to tell you something that could get you killed if you repeat it, he said. 5 years ago, someone tried to murder me. A car bomb that killed my driver and my brother. I survived, but the blast left me blind. He reached up and slowly removed the dark glasses. His eyes were a pale, striking gray, and they looked directly at me. Or so everyone believes, he continued. The truth is, I can see perfectly. The blindness is a lie. One that's kept me alive and allowed me to identify my enemies. My heart pounded. Why are you telling me this? Because you're going to help me find the person who killed my brother? And in exchange, I'm going to give you something you've never had. What? He leaned down, his face inches from mine. Power, freedom, a chance to destroy everyone who ever hurt you. His scent wrapped around me. Alpha pheromones so strong they made my head spin. My body responded instinctively. Omega biology, recognizing a powerful alpha. There's a catch, he said softly. If you agree, you're mine. Legally, physically, completely, no other alpha will ever touch you. Do you understand? I should have been terrified. Should have refused. Instead, I heard myself say, yes. His smile was slow and dangerous. Good. Then we have a deal. He put the glasses back on, and just like that, the blind act returned. Helen will show you the rest of the house tomorrow. Tonight, sleep. You're safe here. Why should I believe you? Because if I wanted to hurt you, I would have done it already. He walked to the door, paused. And Kai, your adoptive family received the $1 million 10 minutes ago. By morning, they'll be arrested for human trafficking. The account I transferred to was flagged by federal agents. Shock froze me in place. Sleep well, he said, and closed the door behind him. I sat there in the silence, trying to process everything a blind man who could see. A deal that made me his. A promise of revenge against my family. I should run, should scream, should do anything except what I did, which was go back to my room, crawl into the expensive bed, and fall into the deepest sleep I'd had in years. Because for the first time in my life, I felt something other than fear. I felt hope, and maybe, just maybe, I felt the beginning of something that could destroy us both. Part 2. I woke to my skin on fire. At first I thought it was just the expensive sheets, too soft, too warm. Then the fever hit and my stomach dropped. No, not now. My heat suppressants. I'd left them at my old house. In my rush to survive the auction, I hadn't thought about the pills I took every morning. I stumbled to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face. It didn't help. Fever burned through my veins. My body preparing for something I'd never let happen. The suppressants had kept my heats manageable for years. Light symptoms, nothing more. But without them, a full heat would hit in hours. I needed help. I grabbed the phone Dmitri had left on the nightstand, found Helen's number, called with shaking hands. What is it? Her voice was crisp, professional. I need suppressants. My heat is starting. Silence. Then, I'll inform Mr. Volkov. No, just get me the pills, please. She'd already hung up. 10 minutes later, a knock. I opened the door to find Dmitri standing there, still wearing the dark glasses, carrying a medical bag. Let me in, he said. I backed up. He entered, closed the door, locked it. Why didn't you tell me you were on suppressants? He asked, setting the bag on the bed. It didn't seem important. Everything about your biology is important when you're living in a house full of alphas. He pulled out a small case of pills. These are medical grade, stronger than anything you've had before. Take 2 now. I grabbed the case, fumbled with the lid. My hands were shaking too badly. Give it to me. He took the case back, opened it, and held out 2 pills. I swallowed them dry. It'll take an hour to kick in, he said. Until then, the fever will get worse. I can handle it. You're burning up already. He tilted his head, and even with the glasses hiding his eyes, I felt his attention on me. I can sense it from here. Embarrassment burned hotter than the fever. Get out. No. I don't need. You're about to go into a full heat for the first time in years. He cut me off. Without help, you'll be in agony for 3 days. Possibly dangerous levels of dehydration and fever. So yes, you do need help. He moved to the bathroom, came back with towels and a bowl of ice water. Lie down, he ordered. I'm not. This isn't a negotiation. Kai, lie down or I'll make you. Something in his voice. Alpha command, wrapped in concern, made my omega instincts obey before my brain caught up. I lay on the bed trembling. He sat beside me, dipped a towel in the ice water and pressed it to my forehead. The cold was shocking. Perfect. I gasped. Better. He asked quietly. Yes. He kept changing the towels, keeping the fever at bay. His hands were gentle, careful not to touch skin beyond what was necessary, but this close, his scent was overwhelming. Cedar and smoke and pure alpha, my body responded, heat ramping up despite the suppressants I'd just taken. Tell me about your first heat, he said, probably trying to distract me. I was 13. My adoptive parents locked me in the basement for 4 days. Said my scent was disgusting. His hand paused. They left you alone, with a bucket of water and some crackers. By the time they let me out, I was hallucinating from dehydration, and after that, they put me on suppressants. Heavy doses. Kept me chemically flat so I wouldn't embarrass them. Silence. Then, they damaged you. I know. No, I mean medically. Suppressants at that age, that dosage, it affects omega development. Your heats will be worse now than they should be. Great. Another thing my family had ruined. The fever spiked suddenly, so intense I cried out. My whole body trembled with the intensity. Dmitri's fingers tightened on the towel. The suppressants aren't working fast enough. I'll be fine, I gasped. You're not fine. You're going into distress? He stood abruptly. I need to call a doctor. No. I grabbed his wrist without thinking. Please, I don't want anyone else seeing me like this. He looked down at where I was touching him. Even through the haze of heat, I realized what I'd done. Touched him without permission. I started to pull back, but his other hand covered mine. Held it there? Then you need to let me help you properly, he said, voice low and rough. Do you understand what that means? Through the fever, I understood. Alphas could ease omega heats, not bonded alphas, but touch, scent, presence. It all helped. Just don't. I couldn't finish the sentence. I won't bond you, he said. I won't bite you. I won't do anything you don't explicitly ask for. But I need your permission to stay. Every rational part of my brain screamed this was dangerous. He was a stranger. A criminal. A man who'd bought me, but my omega biology didn't care about rationale. It just knew he was alpha. He was strong and he could make the pain stop. Stay, I whispered. He removed his glasses and set them aside. Those gray eyes met mine, fully visible for the second time. Then he lay down beside me, careful not to touch beyond what was necessary, and let his scent wrap around me like a blanket. The relief was immediate. Not complete. The fever still raged, but bearable now. Sleep, he murmured. I'll stay until the suppressants kick in. Why are you being kind to me? His hand found mine in the darkness, because no one else ever has been, and that's unforgivable. I fell asleep to the sound of his breathing and the impossible safety of an alpha who'd promised not to hurt me when I woke 6 hours later. The fever had broken. The bed beside me was empty, but on the nightstand sat a bottle of medical-grade suppressants, a glass of water, and a handwritten note. Take one daily. If you ever need help again, call me first. D. I held the note for a long time, something warm and unfamiliar blooming in my chest. Then I took the pill, showered, and went downstairs to find answers, because Dmitri Volkov had just shown me more care during my heat than my family had in 16 years, and I needed to understand why. Part 3. 3 days after my heat, I started testing him small things at first. Moving furniture in rooms he'd already navigated, watching to see if he'd stumble. He never did. I'd leave objects in doorways. He stepped over them perfectly. I'd rearrange books on shelves, and he'd find exactly what he wanted without fumbling. Either his spatial memory was superhuman, or he could see. On the 4th day, I decided to test it properly. Dmitri had a meeting in his study. I was supposed to observe, take notes on body language, like always. But this time, I had a plan. 3 men arrived, business associates discussing weapon shipments. I sat in the corner with my tablet, pretending to take notes while watching Dmitri. Halfway through the meeting, I stood and walked to the window, completely silent. No reason for him to notice. His head turned, tracked my movement. For just a split second before he caught himself, my heart raced. That was it. Proof. After the meeting ended and the men left, I confronted him. You can see. He was putting documents away, back to me. He went very still. What makes you think that? You tracked me walking to the window. No sound, no reason to turn your head. You just watched me. Silence stretched between us. Then he laughed. Actually laughed. 5 years. 5 years of this act, and a 22-year-old Omega catches me in 4 days. He turned around and removed the glasses. Those gray eyes focused on me with unsettling intensity. Yes, Kai, I can see. I've always been able to see, but the car bomb, your brother, all true. The bomb killed Victor. Destroyed our car. I was thrown clear with minor injuries. But when I woke in the hospital, I realized something. He moved closer. Everyone assumed the explosion had blinded me. Doctors, family, enemies. And I realized what a gift that was. A gift? A blind man is underestimated. Pitied. People speak freely around him, plot openly, assume he's helpless. His smile was cold. I've spent 5 years letting my enemies think they're safe. watching them reveal themselves, waiting for the right moment to strike. I processed this. And me. You were supposed to be an extra set of eyes, someone to observe what I pretended not to see? I didn't expect you to figure it out so quickly. So what happens now? He studied me for a long moment. That depends. Are you going to run? Where would I go? Fair point. He walked to his desk, pulled out a file, and slid it across to me. Your adoptive family was arrested 3 days ago. Federal trafficking charges. They're looking at 20 years minimum. I opened the file. Photos of my adoptive parents in handcuffs. Headlines about a trafficking ring bust. Bank records showing the $1 million I'd been sold for. Flagged as evidence. You did this? I whispered. I promised you revenge. I keep my promises. Something cracked in my chest. Not breaking, opening. Why? Because I know what it's like to be betrayed by family. He moved around the desk. My brother Victor and I built this organization together. Then someone murdered him and tried to kill me. I've spent 5 years finding out who, and have you. I've narrowed it to 3 people. One of them is my cousin Andre, another is my oldest friend Marcus. The third is my father's former partner Viktor Sokolov. You think your own cousin might have killed your brother? I know family doesn't mean loyalty. You know it too. He was right. Family was just a word. It didn't mean protection or love or safety. I need your help, Dmitri continued, not as an observer anymore. As a partner, someone who knows the truth and can move freely where I can't. What would I have to do? There's a gala tomorrow night. All 3 suspects will attend. You'll go as my companion. Watch them. Listen. They'll underestimate you like everyone does. Use that. I thought about it. About my old life of abuse and fear, about the suppressants he'd given me, the care he'd shown during my heat, the revenge he'd delivered against my family. If I do this, I said slowly, I need to know something first. Ask. When you bought me at the auction, was it just for this? To help catch your brother's killer? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, initially, yes. And now, he stepped closer. Close enough that I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. Now I'm realizing I made a mistake. What mistake? Thinking I could keep this purely business? His hand rose, fingers ghosting along my jaw like that first night. You're dangerous, Kai. More dangerous than any weapon I've ever owned. How? Because you make me want things I can't afford to want. His thumb brushed across my lower lip. My breath caught. Say yes to tomorrow night, he murmured. Help me find my brother's killer, and then we'll figure out what this is between us. What if it's nothing? His smile was sharp as a blade. We both know it's not nothing. The question is whether we're brave enough to find out what it is. I should have said no, should have kept boundaries between us. Instead, I said, I'll go to the gala. Good, he stepped back, putting distance between us like he needed the space to breathe. Helen will take you shopping tomorrow. You'll need formal wear. He started to put the glasses back on. Wait, I said. Don't wear those around me anymore. If we're partners, I want to see your eyes. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise? Maybe? Or pleasure? All right, he agreed. But only in private. The rest of the world still thinks I'm blind. Deal. That night, I lay in bed thinking about gray eyes and dangerous promises and the way my heart had stuttered when he'd touched my face. I was falling for a man who'd bought me like property. A man who'd lied to the entire world for 5 years. A man who could probably destroy me without trying. And the terrifying part? I didn't want to stop. Part 4. Helen took me to a private boutique the next morning. Mr. Volkov has an account here, she said as we entered the exclusive shop. Choose whatever you like. The saleswoman brought out suits and fabrics I'd never touched before. Silk, cashmere, materials that probably cost more than my adoptive family's car. I chose a deep navy suit that fit like it was made for me. The shirt underneath was crisp white, the tie a subtle silver. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. Perfect, Helen said with the first hint of approval I'd heard from her. Mr. Volkov will be pleased. That evening, a car arrived to take us to the gala. Dmitri emerged from his study wearing a black tuxedo. That should be illegal. Dark glasses back in place, white cane in hand for appearances. But when he turned toward me, I saw his lips curve into a small smile. You clean up well, he said. So do you. In the car, he briefed me one final time. Andre will try to get you alone. He targets Omegas at these events. If he corners you, activate the recording device in your pocket. He'd given me a slim audio recorder that morning, small enough to hide in my jacket. Marcus will likely ignore you. He considers Omegas beneath his notice. But watch who he talks to, especially if he steps outside for phone calls. And Victor drinks too much and talks too freely. Stay near him after 10 p.m. The gala was held at a massive hotel ballroom. Chandeliers, champagne. Men in tuxedos and women in gowns worth more than houses. We entered together, Dimitri's handlight on my arm, playing the part of the blind man needing guidance, heads turned. Whispers followed. Is that Dmitri Volkov? I heard he hasn't attended an event in 2 years. Who's the Omega? Let them wonder. Dmitri moved through the crowd with practiced ease, greeting old associates, accepting condolences about his blindness with gracious humility, never once revealing he could see their fake smiles and calculating eyes at 8 p.m. Andrei Volkov found us cousin. Andrei's smile didn't reach his eyes as he clasped Dmitri's hand. It's been too long. Business keeps me occupied. Andrei's gaze slid to me, lingered too long. And who's this lovely creature? My companion? Kai, companion? Andrei's tone made it sound dirty. How modern of you. Dmitri's hand tightened slightly on my arm, warning or claiming. I wasn't sure. I should mingle, Andrei said, but perhaps Kai would like a tour of the gardens later. I'd hate for him to be bored while you conduct business. Kai stays with me, Dmitri said, voice pleasant but steel underneath. Andrei's smile sharpened. Of course. Family loyalty. I forgot how important that is to you. After he left, I leaned close to Dmitri. He's testing you. I know. Stay alert. The evening progressed. I watched all 3 suspects carefully. Marcus held court near the bar, surrounded by admirers. But twice I saw him step onto the balcony for phone calls he didn't want overheard. Victor drank heavily, growing louder and more reckless with each glass, and Andrei circled like a shark, always watching, always calculating. At 9:30. Victor cornered me by the champagne table. You're new, he slurred, swaying slightly. Haven't seen you before? I keep to myself. Smart. Dmitri's world is dangerous for pretty Omegas. He leaned closer, breath reeking of alcohol. Between you and me, his blindness is the best thing that ever happened to this organization. I activated the recorder in my pocket. Why is that? Because the old Dmitri would have burned everything down hunting for Victor's killer. This version, he laughed bitterly. This version can't see the knife coming. What knife? He blinked, seeming to realize he'd said too much. Nothing. Forget it. He stumbled away before I could press further. I found Dmitri and quietly told him what Victor had said. His expression didn't change, but I felt the anger radiating off him. Good. Keep the recording. At 10 p.m., Andrei made his move. Kai. He appeared beside me while Dmitri was talking to business associates. Walk with me. I insist. It wasn't a request. I glanced at Dmitri. He gave the slightest nod. Permission to go, but be careful. I followed Andrei onto a private terrace overlooking the city. Cold air hit my skin. You're wondering why I wanted you alone? Andrei said, lighting a cigarette. Are you going to tell me? He smiled. I like you. You're not pretending to be stupid like most Omega, so I'll be honest. Whatever Dmitri told you about me, it's probably true. I did hate Victor. I did think the organization should be mine. Did you kill him? No. He blew out smoke. But I know who did. My heart raced. Who? The same person who's planning to finish what they started? The same person who's been slowly poisoning Dmitri's business relationships? Stealing shipments, turning allies into enemies. Tell me who. Why should I? What's in it for me? Protection. Dmitri will know you're not the killer. Andrei laughed. Dmitri already knows I'm not the killer. He's known for months. This whole charade is about something else. What? He's testing you. Seeing if you'll betray him for money, for safety, for whatever I might offer. Andrei stepped closer. So, here's my offer. Walk away tonight. I'll give you $2 million and a new identity. Disappear before you get caught in the crossfire. And if I don't, then you'll die with him when the real killer makes their move. Probably within the week. I stepped back. I'm not leaving loyalty. He shook his head. How refreshing. And how stupid. He walked back inside, leaving me alone on the terrace. I found Dmitri 10 minutes later. Told him everything. Andrei's not the killer, I said. He admitted as much. I know you know. Then why? Because I needed to see if he'd try to buy you away from me. If he'd attempt to use you as a weakness. Dmitri's hand found mine in the crowd, hidden by his body. You passed his test? And mine? What now? Now we move on to phase 2. Before I could ask what that meant, gunshots erupted from the ballroom entrance. Screams, chaos. People. Running. Dmitri pulled me behind a pillar as armed men stormed in, wearing masks, carrying automatic weapons. Get down. Someone screamed. More gunshots. Glass shattering. The chandeliers swaying. Dmitri's arm wrapped around me, shielding my body with his. This isn't random, he said against my ear. This is the killer. They're here for me. What do we do? His smile was cold and deadly. We end this tonight. He pulled a gun from inside his jacket, checked the magazine with practiced efficiency. Then he removed his glasses, tucked them in his pocket, and stood. Stay behind me, he ordered. And Kai, yeah. Welcome to the real game. Part 5. That night, everything changed between us. He held me close, his touch gentle at first, then more certain as I encouraged him. We moved together in the darkness, finding comfort in each other after the violence of the evening. When his lips found my throat right over my scent gland, I tilted my head back, offering, "Say you're mine," he demanded, against my neck. "I'm yours." "Say it again." "I'm yours. I've been yours since the auction." He pressed his lips to the sensitive spot, marking me with a kiss that promised more when the time was right. Not a bond yet, but a claim that everyone would see. When morning came, we lay tangled together, the early light filtering through the windows. "Your family is gone," he said quietly. "Marcus is gone. Victor will spend life in prison. You're free now. You can leave if you want." I turned to face him. "Is that what you want?" "No. Then I'm staying." His arms tightened around me. "I bought you for revenge, but somewhere along the way, you became something else." "What?" "Mine. Completely, irrevocably mine." 3 months later, we stood in his study. My suppressants sat on his desk, untouched. "You're sure?" he asked. I nodded. "I'm sure. We'd waited. Made sure this was real. Made sure I wanted this life, this bond, this dangerous, beautiful man who'd saved me and destroyed my enemies. When your heat comes," he said carefully, "I won't be able to stop myself from bonding you. I know you'll be marked, claimed mine forever. I know that too." He pulled me close, pressed his forehead to mine. "I love you. I need you to know that before we do this." My heart stuttered. "Say it again." "I love you, Kai Morrison, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving it." "I love you too." When my heat hit 2 weeks later, he kept his promise, bonded me, marked me, made me his in every way that mattered. A year after that, I stood in the same ballroom where everything changed, wearing a tailored suit, watching Dmitri conduct business. No more glasses, no more lies. The world knew the truth now. Dmitri Volkov had never been blind. And me, I was no longer just an Omega who'd been sold at auction. I was Dmitri Volkov's bonded mate, his partner, his equal. My adoptive family rotted in prison. Marcus was dead. Victor would never see freedom again, and I had everything I'd never thought possible. Love, safety, power. Dmitri found me in the crowd, smiled, that rare smile reserved only for me. I smiled back. This was my life now. Dangerous, complicated, perfect, and I wouldn't change a single thing. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share. Comment below if you want more stories like this. Until next time, stay safe.